Thin Mint. Thin Mint is in charge of everything.
Thin Mint loves to take a nap on my actual keyboard.
On like the mouse pad part of the keyboard, or where all the keys are?
No, on the keys. And every time she comes in and jumps on my lap, she has to pass through the keyboard first and then, rest on, go to sleep, wherever she wants, on my lap or whatever.
Well, that's awesome, except that's like the worst thing ever.
When I'm working and she closes out my windows, it's terrible.
Like, I didn't save anything. Thank you very much. So let's pin this sucker to the top.
Oh, God.
I know. Well, it's already live, so like, there's no backing out now, Steph. This is a thing now.
I told you I wouldn't. I told you just do it. I'll be there. Perfect.
This is exciting. So yeah, I'm super psyched. That's another cat. Which cat is that?
I don't know.
Right across here.
What did you name her?
Pistachio. Pistachio and Thin Mints. That's like a much
pistachio. Better. Yeah.
It's so much. What was it before?
It still is Aria.
No, it's Pistachio.
No, I that's the one name I like because I could not name her for like 3 weeks when I got her. And so I was watching Game of Thrones, and I know you don't watch it, but I'm a fan, and I'm sure other people here are going to be fans of Game of Thrones. So I was like, oh my God, a girl has no name since I can't name her, and that's part of the show. So I named her Aria, which is the real name of the girl who has no name. So. And
you think Aria is a better name than Pistachio?
Because it has more meaning. Now, Thin Mints, I really like Thin Mints, though. Not gonna lie.
That's awesome.
Is there a way I can see people's comments? No, right?
It's funky because Be Live was part of like the pause and the API and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So like I have a Be Live window here, and then I've got the Facebook Live over here, which is on like a 10-second delay. So immediately my eyes are getting funky. And then, all right, well, Steph just left, so there goes that.
I'm listening. Give me 2 seconds.
Thanks everybody for joining. See you guys later. Thin Mints and Pistachio. Goodbye forever.
They're taking over.
Is that what's happening? They're just gonna like randomly type on keyboards?
Yeah. All right, we're good. All right.
I'll mute that. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. So awesome. This is like the official start now. I'm super psyched, everybody. Thanks for jumping on. I'm Jeff. This is Steph. Last time pronounced Sins, right? SNZ, but it's Sins or something like that.
So you actually, my full spelling is SAENZ.
Well, why isn't that in your Facebook? I've been calling you the wrong name this whole time.
I just haven't fixed it.
Just haven't fixed it? What is that?
Actually, good point. Good thing to talk about is back in the day when I was looking for jobs, I've never been one to post anything bad on my Facebook. You'll never see me doing shots or anything, out of the ordinary. But as a just in case, I'm like, let me change my name so they can't find me, and maybe something that might not offend me might offend them. So I just never changed it back.
Now you don't want to change it back. That's so fun.
Now my friends can't even find me.
Awesome. Perfect.
So,
well, I'm super psyched to have Steph on. She's got a really interesting background ranging from she left college early. I don't know if like college dropout is the right term because it's not like you failed.
Yeah, and I didn't even leave until last year, and I've been in college since I was in high school. If you really do the math, right?
That's like a long time to never graduate.
I know, but I have a reason, and technically I have my AA, but I just got it for. Am I allowed to like the word use shit? I guess so. Shits and giggles.
We'll see what happens if Facebook just drops the group immediately. Right?
It's the bug group. But so I went to a high school. It was called School for Advanced Studies. And actually, that's where I graduated from. And it's actually in Miami-Dade College. And we would go to high school for 3 hours a day. And then we would do college classes all morning. So I was actually enrolled in the college. So by the time I actually graduated high school, I had credits.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had free credits paid for by the state. And so after that, I continued and I went to FIU. But school was just never... Like I always went, obviously I had to. And I did like once when I was in class and I would actually pay attention or it was a subject I was interested, I'd ace the class. But,
right.
I hated science. I hate history. I'm more of a numbers or math person. So I was going to FIU for a while, but then my career started taking off a lot faster. So I had to balance, school or career when I was that young.
At that time, it wasn't a Facebook ads agency, right? It was more like PR and marketing, right? Like
back then, there was no Facebook ads the way we know it now. Not even close, or if even in existence. Back then, I started, my first job was at a movie theater, Regal. and I was tearing tickets, working concession stand. And
is that the career that was taking off? Like,
yeah, it did. But watch what happened. I started that job when I was 16. My dad came home from watching a movie. He's like, you just turned 16. Get up off your butt and you're going to go get a job. So that was my first job. I stayed there for 5-6 years in total. But what happened was as soon as I turned 18, I was already I get promoted really fast, right? So I had become a supervisor. At a movie theater, you're not allowed to be a manager because you have to work heavy machinery and it's illegal until you're 18. The day I turned 18, they made me a manager.
Cool.
So part of being a manager is what these movie studios do is instead of spending hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars on all this television advertising, magazines and all that stuff, they'll put together a prize, say like $5,000, $10,000 in a cruise. And then all the managers nationwide or all the theaters have to submit a local grassroots marketing campaign that they did. Yeah. Right. So it was a lot cheaper for them to do it that way. So when I got to the theater, the majority of the people, the other managers there were men, and men didn't want to do it. They didn't want to be creative. They didn't want to use paint or make posters or anything like that. So I was like, I'm the new manager. I'll prove myself. I'll do it. I had no idea what I was doing. I had never done marketing. I had never done anything. And so I just jumped into it and I got local radio stations to come in for free. You have no budget, by the way, zero budget.
So you didn't like your major wasn't marketing, or was it marketing?
No, I actually started, and my AA actually is in law.
Okay. So let me see if I got this straight. So you didn't graduate college. You only have an associate's.
Right.
You worked in movie theaters.
Yeah.
They had a competition. And that was the start of that rocket ship that led you to running franchise Facebook ad deals, right?
Correct.
Interesting.
So what happened was I did the competition, and I only got, I think it was like 4th place or something like that nationwide. But for Regal, they were like, that's amazing. We've never won anything. And that actually, I found that I did the Disney college internship as well. So while I was away when I won, when I got back from Disney, they were like, hey, do you want this job? And the job was the district marketing manager, and I managed the marketing campaigns for 17 properties from Key West to Jupiter Beach. And that's where it started to skyrocket. And that's when I was 19 years old.
So you were 19, you were managing like a region, right?
A region, yeah.
And then from there you moved into like government and PR work or something like that?
Right. So I kept winning. So now what I did is I took my methods, my grassroots marketing methods, and I would go to all the theaters and I would teach them how to do it and help them how to do it. And then we got 2nd place, and then we got 1st place. So we just kept winning, right? Now in doing this, I was building my portfolio. Like I always say, portfolios are the most important thing. I have about 4 of them, and they're like this thick, each of them, right? So everything you do, you made that flyer, I'd save it. I made this poster, I'd save it. I worked with a radio station, I'd take a picture. Yeah. So it's just tracking your accomplishments. So I would put together a portfolio. I saw the opportunity for a government job. It required a bachelor's. By this time, I'm about like 23, 24. And I was like, whatever. Let me apply anyways. And I went in, and it took them 3 months to hire me. And it was a panel interview. And they said, even though you didn't have the degree, your experience bypassed tenfold everybody who came in. So the city manager is going to waive it, and we're going to take you anyways. And
that portfolio approach, is that like one of the 3 big mistakes that you see when people are approaching big companies with big budgets? Like they go, oh yeah, we've done all this stuff, but they don't have like proof. Verifiable old school proof, right?
Yeah. So now we call it social proof, what we're showing, but you still need the proof. And actually in that interview, one of the things they asked me, they grabbed my portfolio and they're like, how much of this is really yours? And I'm like, because that's the other problem, right? Everybody steals, not everybody, but a lot of people steal other people's things and say they did it, but then you can't speak to it. So don't do it. I don't recommend that.
Right.
Because they're going to drill you and ask you questions. So when you can't answer, you look like an idiot. So I said, it's all mine. And they hired me. And my first 2 weeks, this job was marketing and events. So I would put on concerts, state of the city addresses, beauty pageants under the Miss America umbrella. Every type of event you could think of, I was doing, to the point where even to this day, I quit 2010 maybe, and they still contract me out to this day.
So how did you move from like the PR, the marketing, doing events, weddings? Like I know there was like celebrity show-ups, stuff like that. But how did you go to like Facebook ads? Did they say like, oh, should you do Facebook ads? Can you do Facebook ads? Or did you go to them and say like, you need to do Facebook ads?
No, so I'm always the curious student, right? And so I always want to learn, not necessarily in school. And that's the other thing. During this whole time, I'm taking like one class a semester.
Right.
I technically never stopped college because I wanted to make my parents happy.
Yeah.
All my friends, my best friends are doctors and pharmacists and all that. So I, want to make sure, even though my career was a lot further than them and I'm making more money, still, so, and the social norm is if you're not intelligent unless you have a degree, right?
Yep.
I disagree with that, but that's the social norm. So I always took one class at a time. And then finally the way the advertising started is, so I went from one government job to the next. I got another government job that required a bachelor's, running a cultural arts facility, doing all the events and all the marketing there. And while I was there, that's when I got my first taste of the real digital world with the posting. We still didn't have ads then, or as present as they are now. And they blow money, like my budgets were in the hundreds of thousands every year, but it's all on guerrilla style marketing. So I started telling them, hey, why don't we invest in this and this ad over here? And look, we could place this picture here or blow it up. And then I was like, okay, I'm kind of talking without knowing so much because I'm not educated. So that's when I found Dan Henry.
Yep.
Of course, I was in his beta group with a couple other people.
This was like 2 years ago then, right?
Was it? Yeah, this digital everything between what, like 3-4 years ago? I'd say 3 or 4, right?
I think
no, it has to be like 4 or 5. No, that had to be like 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay, because I took Dan Henry's course. I think like maybe like a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago.
Yeah, no, it was definitely in the like 4 to 5 years.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah.
This is when he was still in his other house in the basement, wood paneling on the walls. And what he taught me Facebook advertising then does not apply now. That's how much it's changed. But then when I learned it and I did it great, like very successfully. So then when I jumped into bringing on new clients and this franchise that I mainly work with now, I work with many things, but the main client is the franchise. They started we have these old school investors, very, archaic thinking. And they're like, oh, we want to do radio. We want to do newspaper. And like I said, I'm a numbers person, right?
Yeah.
So I made Excel spreadsheets for everything. And I'm like, great, we're going to track how much it costs to bring in somebody with that newspaper. And we're going to cost how much it brought to bring in people with the Facebook ad.
Yeah.
And literally, so I know most people here count leads as a click. The way I count leads is butts through the door. So if you
like walk-ins.
Yes, walk-ins. So you can click my ad all day. I can get clicks easily, but I want you to physically come in. I want you to physically book, or I want you to physically buy.
Yeah.
So until you've done that, to me, that's not a lead, right? So that's how I measure my results. And even then, it was costing, newspaper was in the $103 per person. Radio in the $83 per person. EDDMs, which are direct mailers to the house, are in the $60-something per person. Facebook ads I got it as low as $8 at some point per person coming through the door.
So an actual gonna be a customer as close as you can get to the register type customer, not like leads or cost per lead. You're like, no, cost per customer, like acquisition cost, stuff like that.
Correct. Right. Customer acquisition cost. Yeah, that's a better measure. And a lot of these investors are overseas in Argentina. So they're not in the spas to understand what's going on. So I had to show them numbers. So when I'm telling them, hey, when you're giving me, $5,000 a month to do marketing, this is where you should be putting it, to the point where it took about 2 years working with them that because we created a co-op marketing group where I managed everybody's all the same because they're kind of in the same area, until finally I started managing ones out of state. They decided, they're like, you're right. Your numbers are correct. We get more clients and better clients targeted doing it online, and we get more bang for our buck. So I've always been a numbers person, and I showed them the numbers and they were sold. So you
said earlier, one of the big mistakes that people make when approaching big companies with big budgets is not having that portfolio. And I think it's interesting you mention that word, because as an agency, we have to use the same terminology that our potential customers use to describe their problems. So we call it social proof, right? Or we call it, just check on my website. There's a bunch of proof there. But if your customer still thinks in the terms portfolio, Guess what you need to win the account? You need the portfolio, right?
Yeah, physical. They like tangible, something tangible in their hands. I also had a website, which was stephaniesresume.com. I don't have it anymore. Somebody can take that. And then I also had, since I did events, I actually would bring in my iPad. I would, put it on the holder, sit it on the table, and just let it do a slideshow as they're interviewing me of all my events. So they're kind of distracted watching the slideshow. They're busy scanning through my portfolio. It's like, oh, what question were we going to ask you again? We're too mesmerized by all the flashy silver things going on right now.
That's awesome. So it's like, if somebody's watching this and they have an opportunity, they happen to know somebody that works at a franchise in marketing or something like that, your big number one tip is really going to be get a portfolio, actually print it out, screenshot it, do the flyer approach, have proof of the ads, proof of the walk-ins. Is there a second and third big mistake that you see when you see agencies trying to approach big businesses? Is it they don't ask for enough money because these people deal with $10,000 budgets and you're saying $1,000? Or is it they're using the wrong metrics and talking about branding when they should be talking about cost per lead? So do you have a number 2 or number 3 big mistake that you see people time and time again making when they're approaching big businesses and big franchises about budgets?
Yeah, I think it's not having the correct results and selling them on the wrong product, right? So what I'm seeing, I've even sat down with multiple agencies. We've had the long presentations and they say, oh, we're going to do your social media and you're going to get these many leads. But what they were really doing is they were just posting on the wall. And we know that that's not how you get leads. That's not how you get the results. Maybe long-term, for these spas, for example, I started their branding. They had 0 branding in our area, the South Florida area, 4 years ago. And now we have over 50,000 followers on Facebook online. We have 5,000 over on Instagram, and that's with barely any effort. So we created a brand doing that. So it's great for that, but I would not say that that's what brought butts through the door. It's when I actually have a physical ad placed, the client clicks on the ad, and whether I'm selling Valentine's Day packages or I just put up the Mother's Day package and we sold one the other day, it's sales and butts through the door. And now I set up the booking system online, that they do it through because when you work with franchises, corporate is an issue too.
Yep.
Hopefully none of them are wrong, but it's difficult. It's a wall you always have to push through. But I think because I had the history of working with government and mayors and council members where it's very political and you get those same walls and you have to know how to push through them politically. The same thing I do with franchises and their corporate office, because their corporate office says, you can't do this, you can't do that. But corporate's also driven by money, right? So when those spas are making the money, they're getting their royalties. So they even said, when it comes to Stephanie, we look the other way.
That's interesting.
Results talk, bullshit walk. So
there's probably somebody watching this right now that has the opportunity to talk to a franchise, or I've got a friend or my mom or my dad, or he's a VP marketing, or what are the chances? And if they're approaching and saying, we're going to do all this stuff and it's going to be amazing, and if they think you're this gun-toting maverick that can't understand their corporate wall, they're just going to shut down and that's be it, right? Mm-hmm. So you really need to put yourself in a position to say, look, I understand there's things you can do and you can't do, right, and I'm going to make sure I don't put you in a position where corporate hates you and then you got to deal with all that crap, right?
You have to put yourself in their shoes before you even approach them. So do some research. For example, this franchise, and I've seen it with almost every franchise I speak to, they have a monthly required budget for marketing. It's required per the franchise agreement. So you can do that investigation online. Go apply, have them send you an application or Google it. There's a way for you to find out what their monthly budget is. So if their monthly budget is $5,000, you're not going to go in there and say, hey, here's a $10,000 contract, sign up today.
Right.
So, and then it's results. It's saying, look at the results that I get. This is how I can apply it to your organization.
So if you are bringing your portfolio, if you're talking the right results, and if you understand their corporate wall, I would say the fourth expert secret or the fourth big mistake you would be making is not knowing their budget beforehand, which apparently you can Google. I had no idea. But if their corporate agreement,
you can apply and get the information, as if you were a franchise, you were interested in opening a franchise. There's ways to find out.
Oh, that's interesting. All right. So
or just call one of the franchises and say, hey, I'm thinking about purchasing one. I had a couple questions, and think of 3 or 5 of them and insert in them. What do you guys spend monthly on marketing, or what are you required by the corporate to do? So
right. And then if it turns out I'm making up numbers, but let's say they got to spend $5,000 a month, and you're like, I'm gonna shoot this Facebook ads contract, and it's gonna be $1,000 a month. They're gonna go, I don't care. It's not even close. I don't want to have to deal with two people. I'll just deal with one vendor who can then subcontract. So you even like totally miss the opportunity. Is that about right?
Yeah. Whenever you can, even when I worked in events, marketing, Facebook, any industry I've worked with, when you can group it all together, and we talked about this because I was actually doing it differently where all my clients, I would put each, if you even look at my account, they all have their own ad account. I would put their credit card on each one and then go from there. But you're right, it sells a lot easier and a lot faster when you just say, nope, one and done.
Yep. So for some background, Steph charges a management fee and an ad spend separate. So the client gets like 2 credit card bills, right? One from you and one from Facebook. And my expert secret for anyone going down this journey is if you just kind of combine it and say, look, it includes ad spend, it's $2,900 a month. All of a sudden they say, great. Yeah. And now you're going to get like 1,000 hits on your credit card bill from Facebook, but your client is going to spend a lot more money with you. Right. You get to figure it out. You get to do all the fun stuff, and your client, like I don't know any like plumber that says, hey, I have to charge you for every single plumbing thingy or like every single whatever. I don't even know plumbing, right? Like everybody who wants to hire a plumber and pays a lot of money says like, hey, you know what? It's going to be $1,000. We're going to fix all your problems. Thumbs up, right? So you want to be that type of Facebook ads agency. So yeah, we're going through that process now, and you landed a $2,500 deal.
I used the Miller method.
yes, that's awesome.
That was my birthday present.
Perfect. So it's Steph's birthday coming up on Saturday. It was my birthday yesterday. So maybes are awesome, May babies. But yeah, so if anyone's got any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, ideas, now's the time. Drop them in the chat. Otherwise, and move on to the next thing. As it turns out, Steph is based out of Miami, not too far from the digital marketing shop where like we are right now. She's got a really cool background.
I have a newspaper. Remember, I used to manage the newspaper from Community Newspapers. Funny enough,
I sit in like the basement of a newspaper building, and it's called Community Newspapers. And she was actually not like, you didn't deal with me. You dealt with like somebody else,
Mr. White.
Somebody from the group, like Mr. White or something like that, which is a super suspicious name, by the way. Apparently it's a real name. But yeah, it was pretty cool. And she was like one of our points of contact as like an organization. So that was like pretty cool. So let's see if there's got anything else. Anna says, again, this is like Be Live being weird. Anna says she does the same exact thing, and I'll bet she's referring to splitting it. But my last client, I did all-inclusive quote. So no September bill for Facebook ads. So I think genuinely like 100% beyond a shadow of doubt, you should be quoting, including everything, because people want their problem solved. Yeah. They want them eliminated and move towards their goal, and they just want to pay once.
Right.
I found that like when I was starting my Facebook ads journey, and then people got 2 bills, they're like, oh wait, what's happening? What's going on? So it's kind of weird.
And actually, if you do your job even great or better, you can end up pocketing more money, because if you know you're getting your ads in the cents versus the multiple dollars, and they think they would have spent $500 or $1,000 on ads, and really in reality you spent under $200. You can just
more money. Yay!
More money.
Eric says, what would your approach to be if I don't have a portfolio to show? So Eric is like starting brand new. What's your approach if you don't have a portfolio, social proof of results, things like that? So what would like your thought process be around that idea?
So I like Dan's whole new student idea, and saying, hey, I'm a student. Can I do this for you? You just pay for ad spend. And then that's where you start recording. You have to build proof. You have to build a portfolio. That's what will launch you that much further, further. Because once people see the results you've gotten, so I would say do the student thing where, I'm a learning student. Let me have the opportunity to help you out for a month or a couple weeks, and then just screenshot everything. Even if you think you're not going to use it, still screenshot it. So, and this, whenever I'd hire assistants, I was lucky enough to have a mentor while I was going through all of this. And she, even to this day, she's still my mentor. And she's actually my biggest referral source. So that just goes to don't burn bridges. This is my old boss from the first government job I got back in 2008. So you don't burn bridges, you cultivate your bridges, and they will stay with you in the long term. So she gives me like 3 referrals a week. But anyway, so you screenshot everything, and my assistants would, and I would teach them, I would mentor them, say, you need to do the same, because they would come out of college with a bachelor's degree and then they couldn't get a job. They couldn't, unfortunately, I'm all for school. If I was a pharmacist or a doctor, right? We don't want surgeons doing anything on us unless they read a book, right?
Right.
But unfortunately, in the digital marketing world, schools cannot keep up. They've invested so much money in syllabuses and teaching. That's why last year is when I was going to FIU for marketing. I'm like, okay, let me actually invest in what I'm doing, and I spent more time talking to the students there, and they were asking me, hey, can I ask you this about your career? And I was so disheartened when I was seeing what they were teaching the students, because I'm like, this is not real life. This is so archaic and old school, and you're just taking these people's money. So that's when my dad used to always ask me, when are you going to school? When are you going to class? What class are you taking now? I'm like, so finally I told him, Dad, that money I'm spending on tuition, I'm still studying, but it's going to courses. It's going to, and Jeff knows, like I'll buy all of these guys' courses just because I want to learn everything. I may not know something here, and I take a tidbit from over there. And Dan Henry, I went to a webinar in a weekend and AdCon, and it was amazing. So that to me is money well spent in our world. Because in the digital world, it changes so fast to the point where we're all at AdCon and we're like, hey, our power editor just disappeared. What happened here?
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody in the room freaked out for a second. We knew it was coming, but it happened like when we were all together, which was hilarious. So schools cannot keep up.
So the best answer is if you don't have a portfolio, start a Curious Student. You can actually go back to my personal profile, January of 2017. You can see my Curious Student, as embarrassing as it is, people found it and started tagging me on it again. So if you're just starting out, do a Curious Student and start getting that snowball.
Oh, just did that today. I saw that.
You did, right? Yeah. Get that snowball effect whenever you get a win, a result, a screenshot, anything.
Take pictures of everything.
Yeah,
and we can't keep up. We can't keep up. And I'm like, you know what? What I used to have is a box. At my desk, I would have a box, and every time I would do an artist writer, which is a contract for the artist, I would put a copy in my box. Every time I made a flyer, I'd put a copy in my box. And every 4 to 6 months is when I would take that box and then I'd sit there and sort through it. So I guess now the digital box would be just shoot it in one folder. You don't have to organize it. Just shoot it all in one folder. Take one afternoon that you're not doing anything a Sunday, watch Netflix and organize that folder. And there's your portfolio. So
interesting. We've got another question that says, what's your favorite tactic in approaching new potential clients? So that could be either business owners or franchise, something like that. Are you actively pursuing clients, or is it really just a referral source and you're spinning up results, or what's your favorite tactic when you're approaching new clients?
So recently, because I was really comfortable with all my clients and I'm like, no, I want to start scaling. So recently I've been taking the Jeff Miller approach. So I did and I've been to BNI before. I did BNI the other day. I went to somebody signing me up for Chamber in a couple weeks. But a couple months ago, I started doing the LinkedIn approach.
Yep.
Which I forget her name, but I took that course too. And she's like, if you do this on LinkedIn, you connect with people and then you can export the list and just contact them that way. I'm literally sitting on 3,000 contacts that I need to, sit there and reach out to. Can you imagine if I only got 10 of those? That'd be great, right?
Yep.
But what happened was when I was doing the LinkedIn approach, people started messaging me. Just if you framework your profile correctly to where it's not your business, it's still you, but you're selling yourself.
Yeah.
They start messaging you. Hey, I saw your profile. You're exactly what I need. Let's talk. And I got contracts from that. And I denied contracts from it too, saying no, So I had so many calls and so many potential clients just through the LinkedIn approach.
Yeah, just having a profile that confirms and converts. So way back in the day, you'd ask you'd ask your mom what do you think of, what do you know about them? Or you'd ask a friend have you ever done business with that person before? The modern version is just looking them up online, which is Google and LinkedIn and Facebook. And what I found is that when I had a Facebook profile that confirmed somebody's suspicion that they should take a meeting with me, guess what happened? They took a meeting with me, right?
Yeah.
That's just how it works. And that's why at my cover photo, I have what could you do with 30 new customers every month? And all of a sudden people message you, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But let's move into the second bullet point.
Sure.
I don't know if you want to share how much you're comfortable with, the type of industry your franchise is in or all that. But I know that you've got a couple offers that are consistently working and then are getting people into the customers, into the stores, things like that, to a point where each location is getting 50, I put leads, but it's really walk-ins or customers, right?
Booking, actual bookings.
actual bookings, which is a lot more powerful than a lead. Like, and I just started going down that path with my car wash customers, saying like, look, for $10,000, I will guarantee you 200 customers, right? And so that's kind of like closer to what you guarantee, and that's what I'm learning from you. But is there something specific that you could share with people like looking to grow their agency that happen to know of like a franchise or someone in your franchise space, like an offer that just works time and time again?
Yeah. And this is where I disagree with a lot of Facebook advertisers. I think you have a different approach too. And people say keep the offer under $50. I see that all the time, which is fine because the main service they offer is under $50. But honestly, what books the most or sells the most is when we do like packages or, for Valentine's Day, I literally put the packages up and that's what get the most click-throughs. I think I have on my website 21,000 click-throughs or something like that in actual gift card sales. So and those ticket items are $99, $149. The other thing I see a lot in others, this is where I feel I differ from most people in this industry, right, is my text in my ads, it's short. It's to the point. It has the price point right up front, so people aren't having to click through 3 times to find out what the price is finally in your face. So if you clicked it, you know what you were clicking for. And it's very short. Like if I have to push see more, then I probably won't, unless it's just a contact phone number. I'm not going to write anything more than that.
And this is massages, or is it like
massage and facials? Yeah, that's the main franchise. Yeah.
Got it.
And the base price point is $50. So, and it's a month-to-month type thing. The other thing with franchises that you have to remember is you have to be able to prove or even know yourself that you can handle multi-locations because it's not a copy paste. And I know I've heard it in your talks before, what you do for one client in this county, you're not going to do for a client in that county. So yes, it's the same brand, but my targeting is completely different. What works for my New York spas does not work for my South Florida spas. Nobody in South Florida really wants to go to a sauna. Everybody in New York is going crazy over saunas, right? So the approach is very different. But you have to be able to prove that you can handle multi-locations because it's not that easy. It's because it's not a copy and paste. And if you think you're just going to be able to copy and paste it, then you can't do franchises.
So I'm exploring the franchise opportunity now with my car wash and my bike shop. He doesn't do franchise. He's just got multiple bike shops. Right. And what I found is that when I do customer research, like the reasons why you buy a car wash in Texas is different than in South Carolina. Yeah. It's different in Miami. And what's really cool is like he's got 6 locations in Miami.
Totally different.
Is different than Kendall, which is different than Pinecrest. Like people are buying it for different reasons. And I go like,
and languages too. So West Kendall, I would put ads in Spanish. Yep. But in South Kendall, I'd put ads in English or Pinecrest in English. Yep. Or so yeah, areas are very sensitive, and I think the customer research approach, which I haven't done, funny enough, which I'm going to start to do. The thing is, what's different with the customer research and using these franchises, they have clients, right? They have actual customers and members. So I can take that member information and create my own customer research in a way, right? The other thing I did with the spas is I brought their average review rate per month per spa from like 8 to 5 per month to like 50 per month. So now their review, now their SEO.
Is that a process you're okay with like sharing people that are watching? Because that could be like a cool new way for them to get in the door. So what you're saying is like, you figured out how to go from
I don't mind. Yeah. And I actually recently with the whole chatbot thing, I put the process in a chatbot. Nice. So, but it's through text message, right? So every time I've done something, even old school marketing, new school marketing, I work for city governments, everything you do, you intellectually, you might be a little bit higher. So when I speak or say words, not everybody's going to understand. So the rule of thumb is you write it for a 5 to 8 year old to understand, correct?
Yep.
So same thing with the reviews. People want something that's easy. They don't want to have to think too much to do it. And they're obviously doing you a favor if they're going to put a good review, right? So we set it up to where an hour after the person has a massage, they get a text message because you don't want a text message during the massage. That happened a couple times by mistake, but after the massage, and it says, "Hey, thanks for coming by. If you have a second, it was really short. It was, thanks for coming by. Please let us know. Did you have a good experience? Yes or no." So it was just yes or no.
Yeah.
This was also a way to keep those bad reviews internally without putting them on Yelp or anything like that, right? So if they pushed no, it would go to just the splash page that anybody can make. And it's just a form that says, I'm so sorry about your experience. Please tell us about it. And that lets them vent, right? Everybody just wants to vent. Everyone wants to be heard. So, and it's just a simple form page. They fill out, oh, this person sucked, whatever. They push send, and an email gets sent to the manager of the spa, the directors of the spa, and they can follow up and do, client control at that point. Like, they can fix the situation. If they put yes, now they're taken to another page, which only has 3 options. And it's great. Would you mind recommending us? And it has Google. You decide what you want, but Google, Yahoo, Yahoo, who uses that?
Yelp.
Google, Facebook, and Yelp. You put in the order you want. And when you actually click on the link, though, you're not just sending, the problem is people just send them to Google or people just send them to Facebook. So now they have to search where to review you. This sends you directly to where the 5 stars are, and then they can click it and write it. So we saw that in just taking them directly there and through as little amount of steps as possible, people will review you. So, and also at the end, hey, thanks for reviewing me. Here's a free hot stone for next time you come in or something.
And hot stone's like a type of massage, not you're throwing a rock.
Yeah, or aromatherapy, anything that's low cost, anything that's, hot stone's not going to cost because it's something they already have, or aromatherapies in the sense, sugar scrub costs them like 3 cents. It's an incentive you're giving them and rewarding them, and it's just going to make them happier, and it costs you 3 cents to do it.
So if somebody's watching this and looking to grow their agency, scale it, they're trying to get those initial batch results, and they happen to know of a place that, like, they're not called massage parlors, right? They're massage clinics or something like that, or like.
You can't call them massage spas, but like totally not even clinics. No, it's I guess it's like a day spa or
a place that does massage
therapy. It's massage therapy.
Gotcha. Okay.
Massage shouldn't only be a luxury.
Right.
It should be something that you do for yourself and health-wise on a monthly basis to maintain your health.
Gotcha. Okay. You got it. I've never gotten a massage before, but so.
You will. Happy birthday. There you go.
So one of the offers that consistently works time and time again that you're saying is like, take their special. They got a Mother's Day special, Valentine's Day special.
Or a weekday special.
There's always a special, right?
Yeah, or you create the special, whatever. You want to fill the books on a Monday through Wednesday. Hey, if you come back Monday, and this is the slow times. If you come Monday through Wednesday, between these hours, kind of like a happy hour, right? You get $5 off. You get $10 off or whatever using this coupon.
And that's the entire ad, right?
That's it. My ads are clean and simple. The one thing I do is anytime I split test. We talked about this. I love the old school Dan Henry method is to split test. Yep. Now Facebook makes it easier for you, and they actually will split test genders and age for you super quick. But I don't only split, now that I kind of know my customer, I know who's going to click what, because I know their target audience after 4 or 5 years. I don't really split test genders and age anymore. What I do split test, oh my God.
That cat on the wine?
She jumped on my wine rack. Wait, everybody can see it. There you go. Yep.
Yo.
She can figure out how to get down.
So the 2 offers that are working time and time again is like, just take the Valentine's Day special, Mother's Day, whatever special, or make up a special. You can go you can look at competitor websites, Groupons, talk to them, whatever special is, and just put it up and be obvious and explicit with what's in it. And all of a sudden people end up buying, right?
But split test. So what I split test is usually 2 static images, a slideshow, a video, and sometimes I do Canva ads, but I don't really like those things. So I split test those for a good 3 to 4 days, and then I see, okay, for this offer, the photos are doing really well. For this offer, the slideshow's doing really well, and that's when I start to turn off after 3 to 4 days which ones are not winning, and then I put all the budget in one. That's been the best method for me. Split testing images or video. Like if you're not sure what image to use, put them both up. Split test them.
See what happens.
Why do you have to decide? Let people decide. You don't have to decide that. It's gonna.
All right. So that's super interesting. We're going to go over some questions, and then we're going to kind of bring this to a close, the honor special. So if you got any questions or comments, now's the time. I'm just going to go from the bottom to up. Let's see. How do you price your services? You spoke about the fee you charge. What questions do you ask a client in order to find out how much to charge? What's your thought process? I know that's it's changing, but what about what it used to be, what it could be in the future?
Yeah, what it used to be is pretty much based on their budget, and you don't want to max their budget out, right? So if they say their budget's 3,000 or 5,000, you don't want to come out with a $3,000. Oh yeah, it's going to cost all 3,000. So if you say okay, 1,500 or 2,000, they feel like they're getting a good deal because they're getting these great services and they're saving money at the same time. And if there's another marketing thing or something they want to do on the side, they can afford to do that month. So that's kind of how I've always priced it. Now I even don't like to say franchises so much. I specialize in multi-location, right? Because then that
sounds better than franchise, to be honest.
Right. Yeah, because you can have both. You can have multi-locations of something, or you can be part of a franchise. But anyways, but when you're working with the individual doctor or the individual other med spa that's what I got the other day, a med spa, and I feel like in the past I had underpriced myself. And I know I did not want to approach these people underpricing. And actually, it was like 4 or 5 months ago, there was a doctor that has this AIDS thing, a treatment coming out. And I was like, you know what? I don't know if I want to do this so much because it's really challenging, but let me like overprice it, like crazy number, to where I know he's going to say no, or he's at least going to like try to negotiate it down. No, he signed it right away. There was no negotiation. There was no thought behind it. It was, oh, that's it. I used to spend $70,000 in marketing. Okay, great.
Great, fine, sign it. That's so weird. So like,
I think we undervalue, or we're too scared. And I told you, what I did with the med spa the other day, I even went short a little bit because I was like, I chickened out a little bit. And I'm like, no, you just need to say, this is my worth, this is my cost. And Jeff does it really well. And if you don't like it, go try someone else, And
that's really like a mentality, an approach you can only have if you've got like your bases covered. Like if you already have like 10, 15 clients, then you can afford to have some risk, right? Like if you're just starting out, try to like get some clients first. But I had like the same journey. Like I pitched a chiropractor at $5,500 a month. He didn't blink an eye. He's like, look, I'm going on vacation. We'll talk after. I was like, you got it.
And you're probably
guy, he didn't blink an eye at 10 grand a month. He's like, okay. I was like, what? So now I'm trying to figure out like a $25,000 package. And I'll bet you dollars to donuts.
You could do it.
Yeah, it's going to happen. Like you just have to like get that journey moving. I don't think I could have started like internally in my heart at 25 grand. You have to like earn the way the universe pays you back type of approach. But it's totally possible and totally doable. But I think her question was more like, I think you start off charging a flat rate and then you'd manage your spend, a flat rate of like $1,000 or $1,500 a month. Yeah. You got like 8 franchise locations or 8 multi-unit locations. And now you're
figure out your time. You say, if I'm spending 8 hours and I'm only, or whatever, a day and so many days per month, and I'm only getting paid this much, is it really worth that for my time?
Yeah.
You have to value yourself and say, when you do the math and it comes down to $10 an hour, nobody wants that, right? Yeah. But if you're getting $50 to $100 an hour, all right, fine, we'll think about it,
Then it becomes worth it. Right. But now you're moving to like a flat rate where it includes ad spend. You get to do more fun stuff and things like that. Because most people, like nobody, like they buy the map, the strategy, and the process. They go, all right, you're qualified, that does it. But they really want to pay money and get a result. That's why like liposuction still exists. I want to pay money to lose weight. That's why personal trainers pay money to gain muscle. So people are paying you for customers. And so if you can shortcut that approach, then all of a sudden it works.
And once you show that you've provided, for example, I started with South Florida, and the results were being shown and they were getting the numbers to where the New York's franchise owner, which is totally separate, has nothing to do with it, in South Florida, he called me up and said, hey, can we meet up? And I actually happened to be going to New York at that time. I'm like, sure, let's have lunch. I thought a lot of them just like to consult and ask me questions. Hey, what are you doing down there that I could copy? He's like, so how much is it that I can hire you to do what you've been doing down there up here? And I'm like, I did not know this was going to happen. So
like a large number. And he's like, okay, here's money.
So it's like, once you show results one place, it's kind of like a spiral to like where now recently the Texas owners are like, okay, I want you to start doing my Texas. I don't like that lady so much, so I'm probably not gonna do it, but I want you to start doing the Texas. And they're all trying to combine too, where they're like, okay, we need one person to be in charge of all the franchises in the nation's marketing. So it's a spiral. That's why I say the number one source is referrals.
Yep.
And I've never maximized that. I'm gonna put a post on my Facebook the other day, in like a couple days, saying, anybody want to make $200 to $500? Let me know how, and I'll DM.
Right.
That's simple. I think that's a great thing. And I never thought about it. And people would just refer me because they know I do a really good job, and they're really, anybody I've worked with understands how I work, and I'm very dedicated and focused, and I get results, and I'm all about results. And I'm very honest too. So if you're talking to a client and, you know, kind of skirting around issues and saying, oh, this, you know, I don't know, like this campaign obviously sucked, but I'm not going to say that, you know, like, no, this sucked. Let's not do it again. Let's figure out a better way to do it. So I'm very honest. And I think that honest method and real method works, which is why, yeah, so Jeff has the same real method.
Just like the more you curse, the more people pay you. And it's like,
I see that. Well, that's the Dan Henry method, I guess, right?
Pretty much. It's interesting you brought that up. Like I've taken a look back at my journey. And first I was a Facebook ads agency. And now I'm turning into an agency that's using Facebook ads to grow. Right. And I'm already seeing that like my car wash guy treats me as the chief marketing officer, but outsourcing the outsourced CMO. So I think that's like the natural progression of most agencies, like, and you're on that path too, because you're going to be the outsourced CMO of the like entire United States franchise.
Which they already have one, by the way.
Right, but you're going to be like the outsourced.
Right. They have one. And when he first came on board, he actually sat with me here in South Florida for days taking notes because he's, you know, obviously much older, but he started back in the day with the flyer, the flyer. That's where he started. And what they did back then, yeah, great. He knows advertising and ads and all that, but that doesn't apply now. Like maybe you can apply the verbiage or copy or whatever to an ad now, but he doesn't know how to place a Facebook ad. He doesn't know how to guide these massage spas to go in the right direction digitally. And that's where the money is. It's digital. You get your best ROI going digital. And I've done every avenue of marketing you could think of over my career started at 19. I'm turning 32 on Monday.
Oh, I just turned 33. It's all downhill. Like
I feel young now. I feel better now.
Say what?
I feel better now that you're older than me.
I know it's horrible. Like no more French fries. Like your knees hurt all the time. Your face just feels like you have one beer. But so this is coming to an end. So Steph really like guided us through like her unique Facebook ads journey. Very often we think we need to be the Facebook ads expert first, but she really took a non-traditional approach where she worked like events and PR, and then got hired. She worked in government and now transitioned to Facebook ads agency, and an agency that uses Facebook ads to grow, and soon to be an outsourced chief marketing officer. So if Steph has genuinely helped you like clear up that fog of war and that unsurety when it comes to approaching franchises, we've got an on-air special. Do not comment before I tell you what to comment. People did that last time. They're like, I want it. I was like, that's not the right keyword.
It should be like Thin Mints or pistachio or something.
Yeah, well, we got one, right? So if you think that by having a personal one-on-one 15-minute conversation with Steph about how she approaches franchises, how to approach massage spas, how she transitioned from government work into Facebook ads, if she can help you shortcut your timeline and shortcut your path to success, leave a comment saying Thin Mints, help me out. Literally Thin Mints, that's the name of her cat. I renamed her cat. Thin Mints, help me out. It is now, right? And so the first 3 people to leave a comment saying Thin Mints, help me out, you're gonna get a personal 15-minute session one-on-one with Steph. She's going to show you some stuff, show you how to approach franchises, multi-unit businesses, and ultimately shortcut your success so you don't have to go through that challenge and the problem and the concern of like, I don't know what to do and things like that. So we've got Jason Young, we've got Toby did it wrong, we've got Fabricio, and we got Richard St. Andrews Hilton. Wow, look at that.
For Toby.
So, I know, right? So those 3 people, you're going to get a group message between you, me, and Steph. You guys are going to figure out a time where you can to sync up and things like that. But yeah, so that's the basic idea. If anyone has, what was the name of that LinkedIn course name, by the way?
Rachel Peterson.
Rachel Peterson's course.
Yeah, she covers everything, but that's why I told you, I kind of pick everybody's courses and I take tidbits of everybody's stuff and then make my own idea and what works for me in my industry, because everybody's industry is different. And what might work for one client, like right now I spent the day on Thursday making a bot for my new real estate client. So with the spas, the bots are not really going to do much. I made a bot for like a Valentine's Day quiz. Hey, find the perfect gift for your whatever. And those ads were costing me like $4 or $5. I was having a heart attack. Yep. So the ads are normally, I'm used to in the cents. And when I saw those, I'm like, bots are done. No more bots.
Not going to happen.
No bots for the spas, but I am making a customer service bot for them. So
Very cool. Well, to the 3 people who got the 15-minute session, you're in a treat because she's going to show you how to get cents, not dollars, which is like kind of cool, I think. Yeah, so that's the basic idea. I hope everyone had a great time. I hope this unveiled some challenges and problems you can now bypass and not have to worry about. How it's not that difficult to go from non-traditional, you don't have to be a Facebook ads expert, into Facebook ads just by getting courses, becoming an expert, and snowballing those results. A couple key secrets that we unveiled. Number 1, use a portfolio. Don't talk social proof. Don't talk website. When you're trying to pitch big businesses, come in with actual proof that you can speak to. Number 2, I totally forgot. Try to match their budget. Do your homework first. If they're talking $5,000 to $10,000 a month, don't come in with $2,000. And number 3, I don't remember, but it's somewhere in there. But that's the basic idea. I'm telling you, it was Thin Mint's fault or pistachio. So everybody had a great time. This video will go up on the wall. It'll be part of the interview chain, things like that. So everyone have a great Friday. Kick ass, take some names, go make $1 million. Steph, thank you for your time. Talk to you later.